Our fifth secret to success is bad can create good. What I mean by this is, think of how many times you've been at your local barn or in a scenario or situation where someone is always trying to stop their horse when they do bad. And I want you to think of how consistent or inconsistent that horse is at being good versus being bad. Meaning, is he always looking to be bad? Well, probably what's happening is your horse is getting a release or a reward for things that he shouldn't be doing because you're always saying, whoa, ho, whoa, ho. He starts to get cinchy, whoa, ho. He starts to spook, whoa, ho. He starts to run, whoa, ho. He starts to kick, whoa, ho. Next thing you know, he thinks doing the wrong thing is actually the right thing because of your timing of your release with your horse. For instance, we're going to set up a few things here with him. I might just go ahead and I'm going to create some bad. So I'm just going to kind of come here. It's going to look, oh my gosh, he's panicked. So 1, he's on the wrong lead. 2, he's pulling back. 3, he's not sure. 4, he kind of broke gait. Okay? So we're just going to think about all these things. This is all bad. This is all bad. All bad. And we're just going to wait and we're just going to see what he does. I'm going to let him figure this scenario out. This is all bad. Breaking gait, missing his lead, different things. I just kind of come at him with no warning, just like the turkeys flying over the hill. And I'm just going to wait on this horse to find something good. I'm not going to stop him every time he has a little micro heart attack about something. I'm not going to stop him just because he's a little bit confused. We see how he's pulling on this rope? He's kind of heavy. He's not sure what's going on. I might even reach up there and kind of touch him. Okay, notice as soon as I kind of touched him, see how he softened up there to me? So I'm just going to kind of wait on him until he, there, checks in. He doesn't need to be running around like that. But I know what he is. He is a hair trigger, got to go do something, border collie in a horse's body. I know that. I got him on purpose because of that. I like a horse like that because they'll go all day. They'll last. They're curious. They're light on the ground. They're easy to move. But because of that, like you still have a border collie that you have to deal with. So I'm going to come out here. I'm going to do this again. There, see the difference in him? I'm going to ask him to keep moving. But see the change here in him? See how much softer he was after that first one? Because he learned from that sequence. Now, I'll be honest with you. I would be a little disappointed if I left Blade out here in pasture, where he's been, for a month, and I brought him in, and he was perfect. I would almost be a little disappointed. Because what's he doing out there? He's trying to survive. He's got his pecking order. He's got to figure out who's eating the food and who's not. And he's got all of these things going. He's not in here doing perfect little circles. Now, I don't want him being horrible either, but I do want to know that he's working hard enough and making hard enough choices that he's going to hook up with me when it is time to go, you see. That's what's important. Because if I just say, oh, well, you know, I rode Blade all year at the clinics and he was just an angel, and I give him a month off and I'm just going to rely on that situation, I may end up getting myself in pretty big trouble. So you can see here the change in him, how he's much softer. He's like, man, I didn't really like pulling on that rope. I didn't like not being ready. I didn't like not kind of understanding what's going on. I didn't like that. See how he just keeps trying to be good now? Every time I whack the ground, he's getting a little softer. So that's what I mean. If you do this right, bad can create good. That doesn't mean we're going to create trouble. It's not, we're going to make the horse be bad. But if he's already a little bad, like he's a little edgy, he's a little spooky, he's a little bucky, he's a little whatever he is, he's a little kicky, just let him roll through those things a little bit until he makes the right choice. Because if kicking is just under the surface, if spooking is just under the surface, if bolting is just under the surface, you may not even have to do anything to let that out. When the turkeys fly over, or his best friend leaves a little bit on the trail ride, or the wind blows, or the gate shuts real loud, that's probably going to set him off. And because you've kept it just under the surface, knowing it's there, you're going to have to deal with it. at that moment, but are you ready? You're zipping up your coat. You're reaching for your Coca-Cola on the fence. You're trying to get the gate or whatever you're busy doing. You're on the phone chit-chatting with your friend. Next thing you know, you're bucked off because here in the arena, you didn't want to cause any trouble. You didn't want to search for anything, and you didn't want to teach this horse how to soften and relax. So you see how he's softening there a little bit? He's starting to kind of come around here. So that is the fifth secret to success, is don't be afraid of a little bit of bad. Work through it. A good friend of mine, he said, stay in the trouble longer. Doesn't mean make trouble, doesn't mean cause trouble, but if trouble shows up and you're in a controlled environment, stay in the trouble a little longer. Don't go with the whoa-ho thing. Because when you get to the barn tomorrow, you watch the whoa-ho people and you tell me how many of those people are still struggling with the whoa-ho situation. All right? Roll through this and I promise you things will get better for you.